Hi, I'm Greg Artim from Artim Law, and today we're going to talk about the 5 steps to beating LVNV funding in court. The first piece of advice, or the first step that I can offer you, is that you should not call them. Don't call LVNV funding. It's human nature when you're served with a lawsuit. You want to give them a call. You want to try and figure out what's going on, what this account was for, or why they think that you owe them money. But I'm telling you that that's a mistake. You can jeopardize your case very severely by talking to them. You can make an admission that you owe the amount. They can actually talk you into making a payment, therefore extending the statute of limitations. Take my advice as a consumer attorney for 22 years. Don't call LVNV funding. The second step to defeating LVNV funding in court is to obtain a current copy of your credit report. You can go to a website sponsored by the government called www.annualcreditreport.com. If you go there and provide them with some biographical information and prove that you are you, they will give you a free copy of a credit report from Experian, Equifax, or TransUnion. You want to print that out or save it to your computer as a PDF or do both and take a look at where that LVNV funding account is on your credit report. We're looking for the charge-off date, we're looking for the date of the last payment, and we're looking to make sure that the amount is correct that they're suing you for. The third step to beating LVNV funding in court is to consult with a consumer attorney at Artim Law. Give us a call. We offer a free 15-minute consultation. We'll tell you the good things about your case. We'll tell you the bad things about your case. We'll help you work through whether you should defend it or whether you should negotiate it. And there are all kinds of criteria to determine whether or not we go one avenue or another. Let us put our experience to work for you and explain to you what's happening, so at least you know why this lawsuit was filed and what they're trying to do, and most importantly, what your options are. The fourth step to beating LVNV funding in court is to actually hire an attorney from Artim Law. Let us go to bat for you. We deal with these guys every day. Probably over 1,000 cases with them in my career, maybe more. I've dealt with their attorneys. I've dealt with them in magistrate court. I've dealt with them in the court of common pleas. We've defended cases with them. We've negotiated cases with them. There's a lot of experience on this side of the camera. Let us go to work for you. Let us handle the case. Let us protect your interests. The fifth step to beating LVNV funding in court is to actually make them prove a case. This is a high hurdle for them to cross. LVNV funding is what we call a junk debt buyer, and what that means is that they bought your account from somebody else. In most cases, LVNV funding does not buy the claim from the original creditor. They buy it from someone who bought it from someone who bought it from someone who bought it from someone else. And if you were following that, that's 5 transfers that typically occur on an LVNV funding case. Each time your account is transferred, it makes it a little easier to win because evidence gets misplaced, evidence doesn't get transferred. Sales of credit card accounts, while they are legal, they make it difficult for the purchaser to win in a court of law in Pennsylvania. Make them prove a case. In addition to all of that, when they purchase these documents, they buy them on what's called an as-is basis. And what that means is that they buy them with all known and unknown defects, and they buy them with no warranties of any kind whatsoever. So even if they have some of your contracts and some of your terms and conditions and some of your monthly statements, they don't know whether they're accurate or not. They don't know whether they're authentic or not because, again, they bought them on this as-is basis. LVNV cases can definitely be defended in Pennsylvania, so we strongly suggest that you give us a call. Let us explain your rights to you in a little more detail. Let us look at the facts of your case and see whether we should defend it or try and negotiate a settlement for you. I'm Greg Artim with Artim Law, and thanks so much for watching us this afternoon.